Right then, turn 12, and it was quite eventful that turn. So, in the north, he pushed the skirmishers forward and had a couple of melees with my skirmishers and pushed them back. And over here as well, he sort of broke my lines a little bit. He got in amongst my line because I don't have a solid front line, but these are broken troops, so I'm not overly concerned. Got a victory point up there, which is quite appealing, so we're going to have a crack at that in due course. Continuing to pull people back from the woods as he was before, and if we go down a little bit further, the Spanish continue to congregate just on this side of the river, on the west side of the river. Victory point there, 50 points. It's a chateau, so it's not a major concern of me to take that. Don't forget, I'm not even really that bothered about taking Talavera. It was just the Battle of Talavera because of the location. What I have to try and do is destroy his numbers, especially Wellington, because we could afford the losses more than him, and I dare say we're not going too bad on that front. Down in the south, around Talavera itself then, it broke some troops there. They haven't really reacted to our cavalry like I thought, apart from one unit gone in square, which is useful for infantry. We've broken a unit here. We broke that big unit eventually here when they tried to attack us, and we managed to break them. Got a bit of a gap opening up here, but my gap is also, their gap is also my gap. I've got nothing to press on with, no reserves, and I could bring that unit forward, but I'm not going to. So all in all, it's not going too bad. Fairly happy. Looks like we can start to bring some of this cavalry into play. And as always, we're going to start up in the north, and we're going to start with our artillery. So this artillery here, protected by skirmishers, they can see. Can they see? No, so it went into indirect mode. That's annoying. I thought that top end they could actually see them, but they couldn't. Okay, a bit of a wasted shot. Not the end of the world. Let's call it a misfire. We can fire on. They're out of range, but we can fire on these guys with our light guns that we put in place last time. Not the best shot, not the worst. So, I mentioned on the last turn we're going to have to start bringing some artillery forward, ideally horse artillery. So we don't really need these guys at the minute. Just into the woods to deal with that cavalry, because this is, okay, there's light dragoons there as well. And he's got those somewhere, dragoon guards, and he's got dragoons. There you go, he's got all his cavalry really milling about in the woods. So we've got to be a little bit wary of that. I'm going to leave these guys where they are and sort of, they must have, try and steady a front line a little bit, let that north side catch up and get a bit more of an established front line. It's a little bit higgledy-piggledy, if you like, for want of a better word here. Plus, if I push forward too much, I'm going to bump into my own troops when I try and steamroll up as front line as per my original plan. So I've got to be a little bit careful of that. What we've got here, we've got some horse artillery. Tell you what, I'm actually going to bring them forward as well. Into the woods eventually, and just keep my larger guns back here. Maybe this horse artillery as well. So those Spanish are still there. They haven't broken. What are they? Reina. I can't say I'm very familiar. Out of all the armies at the time, the Spanish would be one of my weakest, knowledge-wise. So I just know generally they're pretty poor, and watch out for the Spanish Carbineers. Right, can we see anybody bunched up down here? A little bit far. Can we see that cavalry? Yes. Nice. Anybody bunched up? There is indeed. Somerset's again. Still there. There we go at them. This battery as well. We'll go at these guys. We've got this battery, who can they see? Look at all them bunched up in the woods, there's loads there. All his guards. He hasn't really used his guards at all. Good for me. But certainly not how I would have used guard quality troops. And we'll have a go at them. Oh, from that distance. I like that artillery battery. Right, so I will bring this battery forward as well and unlimber it, ready for next turn. Do we have any more? Yes, we do. We've got these two guns. Continue firing on this cavalry from behind. They're stuck. I think it's just going to be a case that we're going to have to carry on firing at them until we destroy them, which is annoying. You'd like to think they could surrender, but basically I'm going to have to keep a few units tied down here, just so that they don't recover and cause havoc behind my lines. Little quirk of the game, let's say. Same thing. Remember, we moved that battery around last time so we could actually have a go, and that's it for our artillery. So troop movement, I'm going to come back up the north as always. There we go, that's our north sector, our northern sector. And bring my skirmish line out. Make sure there's no surprises when we get to the high ground. Got ourselves some free supplies. Happy days. Might try and come back and capture that if we are not careful. Now, I'm going to press these home in a sort of southeasterly direction rather than due south for that victory point. I don't want to capture it right now, it's free and open. I'm going to use my cavalry to do that, not my line troops. My line troops are needed for fighting this hodgepodge of British and Spanish that we have up here. So, let them all cross the river. Get my skirmishers up to the front. Keep them occupied while I move everybody into position. What we got there, the Berkshires, just normal line infantry. We have fired them, haven't we? Yeah. So I think what I'll do, we'll get Ruffin forward to lead a bayonet charge on the back of these Spanish. Which he does successfully. Get these guys up. Barrios is there. Get my light troops forward. And these guys. Get some supply down with them. Start moving my cavalry down now. Move them all along the road. I know the pathfinder says no. Okay, that's good where they are. Cavalry-wise here, quite a bunch of cavalry, so I actually can move them across the west a little bit to act as a rear guard. Don't need them all bunched up in that corner. Where's the end opponents? Cavalry view leaders on division colours. So they're bowman as well. So we'll bring them over here. Take off division colours for the moment, and then carry on for the rest of our troops. And then push them skirmishers back. Okay, what have we got there? We've got Duncan and not many of the Prince of Wales Irish. Quality troops with a leader. We'll change them into line. Have a go at these troops from behind. Connaught Rangers, are they? Yeah. So we've softened these guys up, softened them up a little bit more, and we have our cavalry. That's the 2nd Brigade. Who's 2nd Brigade leader? There we go. So he's going to come forward, take charge of his boys on the charge up a hill. But hopefully it's going to break these troops. Hopefully we've got enough momentum there. Do I want to bring it home with these guys as well? How many is there? 300. Yeah, in for penny, in for pound. Let's be sure. And there we go. Look at that. That was worthwhile bringing the rest of them in then. Can continue. Do I want to take those skirmishes yet? It's a good chance to overrun them, get them out of the way. There we go. So we're taking them prisoner. And what we got there, 160, 70 odd men. Skirmishes. Yeah, I'm going to have a go at these guys as well. Push them back. This is why it's so important with facing of cavalry, because now we're in amongst them. this is the best way to use cavalry in my opinion. It's not to use them as a punch weapon, especially in obstructed terrain and things like that. We've used them slowly and steady, resisted to use them too early on. Now we've got this wide open ground, we've got them over the river, we let them recover, now they're in a position to charge. So, because we've got multiple cavalry melees activated, we can go on the charge again and run down all these hapless infantry in the open. Surprised me, maybe I could have committed a few more there, but I wouldn't say they've got much left. I reckon they'll be on the run during the next turn. Can do, bring these guys up as well, put them into line. How we count, they lost their movement points because of the proximity of the other troops. Can do, bring these guys forward and deal with the King's German Legion skirmishers. Okay. They're still disordered, they're disordered, annoyingly. They've just crossed the river, you see, so what I'm going to do is get the disordered ones out of the base, sort yourselves out up there, and we are going to go on the charge with these dragoons and the 14th dragoons as well, into these routed troops. Poor rifles are going to cop it now from their flank. Not going to do anything with these guys can just sit it out and wait there, we don't need them this turn. We can get these guys on the charge. We can join in the charge with the 14th dragoons. And then go side on onto the rifles. Okay, we didn't really have anywhere to go, but we sliced them and we diced them and we took a good old number, and there's not many left, 60 odd left. I'll leave them, they're no threat to me at all. They're all milling around, but they're no threat to me at all. Who have we got here? 300 of the Prince of Wales Irish. Get into line formation. Give them a volley. And then let their sergeants take them home in the charge. Oof, Irish, eh? They are like a terrier when they're down, like a cornered lion on the mess with. Alright, who have we got here? We've got some line troops, and then we got some Stuart's brigade up here as well. So I'm going to soften them up with volley fire. Too bad at all. I'm going to bring that attack home. Yeah, but I'm going to do it from the side in this case. The Spanish are still there, surprisingly, but the Spanish are still there. So flank attack on these guys, and they got the high ground. And have they got a leader? No, but we didn't have a leader, so it was relying on the junior officers to try and bring it home. Right, these Spanish. Still here. Can we get rid of once and for all this turn? Okay. What I want to have a look at is his leaders. So what we've got there. 1st Brigade. Few leaders on top. So 2nd Brigade. 2nd Brigade. 1st Brigade. So Le Plan, you're going to come back here. Oh, it doesn't just have enough to reach there. Anyway, he's within shouting distance, so you can shout them. Shout orders to them. Oh, I missed the unit I wanted. Can he come back? No, not quite enough. Anyway, he can shout from where he is to tell them to attack and use his influence, and we'll see, can we break the Spanish? We didn't break them, or we don't know yet, but we may have broken them. We pushed them back a little bit more. And I'm going to continue bringing my reserves up. What are we dealing with here? So these horses. Now I don't really want to go in square in obstructed terrain. I don't think we can anyway. So we're just going to have to continue firing away at them in column. Hopefully just sapping their numbers. And who have we got here? So we've got disordered troops and we've got 300 with leaders. Leave them where they are. Their flanks protected by these line troops up here, the 54th. Don't want to bring these guys forward in line either, but we can put them in column and turn them round and fire on the cavalry from this flank. just chipping away at those light dragoons. All the time, just chipping away, few by few. Okay, didn't see that skirmisher there. It's a victory location as well. Main road, I would say. So take those skirmishers out as well. And we get a victory location for a trouble. 50 points. Not the best, but we'll take it. Okay, so we do have some broken troops down here. These blooming cavalry, we're going to have to start dealing with them. It's going to be a while before we whit them down there. Oh, that's what they got. Still got 100 odds. That could be 199 for a while now. But we'll chip away at them. As with these guys, I don't think they're going anywhere either until we break them. So, what I might do, these routed troops on the road, just to make sure if they do sort themselves out, they're not a threat, bring some troops down to cover them. So we'll bring the German Legion. And then what have we got here? Bring them forward in line. We can move them in line now. It's not going to do any worse than disorder us. So we'll do that. And what have we got here? We've got some Somersets, so we'll have a crack at Somersets. They have now sorted themselves out, so they can cross the river. Don't want to press home, as I said before, too much on this side of the river, but I do want to establish a bit of a front line. Bring them forward. There we go there. And melee. Can't melee now because we've already meleeed against them. That's a fairly stable front line. These skirmishers are actually going to act as a mini rear guard with my supply wagons just in case somebody breaks through. I'm going to stay where we are there, just because they need a bit of a rest. 114 fatigue, 382. They can rest up there. Don't want to push too far forward on that southern flank anyway, or middle, left centre if you like. What I do want to do is sort this fighting out in and amongst Talavera. So, those troops look like they've sorted themselves out, and we're going to give them a go with our dismounted dragoons. So we've softened them up. Got disordered cavalry that we can't really do anything with. Carry on with our dismounted dragoons towards the chapel and bring Peninsular out into that main road. Now these troops here, they've got themselves into square, and we've got the guard against square. It's going to be hard to get a leader there. Where is he there? No, it's not. He's just going to go straight across the road. But he used all his movement points, so we're going to have to follow up with a guard there now. And that's used all their movement points, so I had to follow up with a guard there just because I was stupid enough to use all that leader's point, and Salini was out in the open on his own, and perfect opportunity for him to be overrun. So he has proximity to the guard, and we're going to have a go at that square. Just because the guard is disordered, leaders in proximity, they're disordered. Not probably the best troops, but there is a lot of them. Oh, come on, I would have thought you'd done better than that, guard. Never mind. Right, we do have guard here. Well, we've got 100 and 200. So, what I'm going to do is... who's he with 2nd Brigade? 2nd Brigade there, soften them up. Going to soften them up with some guard. And then use them to melee on what looks behind. No, I thought I would have gone. Okay, but the guard here can have a go at this unit, which is 100, so move the guard round. And then you're going to have a go at these guys. And we did manage to push them back at that time. So supply wagon's happy enough where he is. We've got some broken units here. And our Germans are going to fire on them. And the Frankfurt battalion is going to fire and melee. Try and push these guys back. Nope, it's the Germans, no comment. Cavalry on the road, use the other Germans to have a go at them. So they managed to resupply themselves, and we've got an awful lot of troops there, upwards of 1,600. And we've got a chance of taking some more guns against Julio Iglesias and his Burgos, the Burgos unit with 700. I don't know if they're any good or not. It's risk versus reward. Artillery is very dangerous if he has the chance to run limber it and all our troops are bunched up. However, saying that, we do have some Spanish on this side of the river and not much else. So I'm going to be aggressive, continue my aggressive streak today. Not usually this aggressive, but I'm going to continue my aggressive streak. And we're going to have a go softening up that infantry first. And then even though my Poles are disorganised, Colonel Anonymous, I've got full faith in you. Lead home the attack. Nope. Not even enough to push them back. Costly attack, both sides though. Mind you, we did have an awful lot of troops there. 1,600, 2,500, just short of 2,500 troops. That was a big attack. My Dragoons, what have we got in here? So they've got a battery there, and I'm not lined up, annoyingly, to charge. And I'll probably lose my points when I go there. Anybody else in reserve? And what I will do is I'll bring these troops in there. Thought that would happen, annoyingly. But then follow up with these Dragoons here, and we're going to dismount them. Can't do anything with them, can't get in anywhere, so they have to stay where they are. Can't do anything with them, they're disorganised, they're not, so they're going to come back. Bit of space to sort themselves out, and we'll bring in the 21st Dragoons, ready for the next turn. So not a lot else we can do. Continuing to press home our attack on all fronts, and as always, I'll catch you on the next turn.